Si Ad mo na Sara, wait lang. Wait lang. Okay? Okay, class. So, ilan na ba? Ilan na ba kaya? 38. So, yun nga, unfortunately, upon nung ating Google Meet, sabi nga dun sa sa aming chat group din ng mga faculty, wala na raw there's no recording for there's no recording for Google Meet dun sa current subscription ni RTU. So, yung binigay kong link dun sa ating Google Classroom will be our permanent video conferencing link. Then all other activities will be course through dun sa ating Google Classroom. So ito pa lang, dito lang tayo magkakaroon ng ating synchronous classes. Okay? First, let's check the attendance para for today. Agoho. Balane. Tama ba yung kinuha ko? Ay, sorry, mali yata. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Abatay.
Abatay present.
Okay. Ablasa. Ablasa.
Present po.
Okay. Alano.
Alana po, present.
Alarcon. Okay. Alavanzas.
Present po.
Apuyan.
Present po.
Aranas.
Present po.
Arenal.
Present po. Arenal.
Austria.
Present po, Austria.
Borromeo. Bustamante.
Bustamante present po.
Cornejo. Corpus.
Present po, sir.
Okay. Cruz.
Present po, sir.
Cruzado.
Kursado.
Darong. De Leon.
Sir, present po.
Fortaleza.
Present po.
Gakusan. Gatbunton. Ay, sorry. Sorry, nagche-check ako attendance. Gumiran.
Present po, Sir Gumiran.
Okay, Haulo.
Present po.
Walo po, present.
Okay, Lanuevo.
Present po, Lanuevo.
Legarde.
Present po, Ligarde.
Lander. Ayan na si Lander. Lumakang.
Present po, Lumakang.
Masangkay. Mauna.
Present po, Mauna, sir.
Okay. Medano.
Present po, Mendano.
Okay. Munda. Navasca.
Nabasca, present.
Okay. Palomares.
Palomeras po.
Palomeras. Okay. Panganiban.
Present po, Panganiban.
Okay. Pasiliao.
Pasiliao po, present.
Okay. Elias.
Elias, present.
Raka.
Raka, present, sir.
Okay. Rada.
Present po, Rada.
Ramos.
Ramos po, present.
Rayoner.
Present po, Rayoner.
Okay. Reveresa.
Present.
Present si Reveresa.
Sir, yung masangkay po, present kanina. Wala lang pong mic.
Okay, sige. Si Reveresa Anthony. Reveresa. Okay. Okay, masangkay. Reyes. Rile.
Present po, Sarili.
Romero.
Present po, Sir Romero.
San Gabriel. Trina. Miss Trina. Zelda. Roslyn. Soriano.
Soriano po, sir. Soriano, sir, present.
Suson.
Susan, present po.
Tuanyo.
Kanya present po.
Valencia. Ventura.
Present po.
Okay.
Present po,
Sino yung bagong pasok? Borromeo. Cornejo. Darong. Munda. Zelda. Okay, wait lang po Hello class, can you see my screen? Pa-confirm na lang po kung nakita niyo po yung screen ko.
Yes po, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Let's begin in a few minutes. 4:55, wait lang po. Okay class, let's start. Miss Zelda, okay na po na record ko na po kayo. So, let's start. Recorded. Okay, computer network and network security, an introduction. So when we say network and computer networks, these are two separate things, network and computer network. So when we say networks, it's an interconnected configuration and set of components. It could be a number of computers, number of servers, or it could be a connection of individuals, or connection of neurons, or connection of electrical connections. So when we say network, it's an interconnected configuration and set of components. So it always have its set of components. Kasi kung walang components, it cannot be a network, or it cannot be an interconnected configuration. Okay, next is networking refers to communicating each with or within a group. Yun. So when we say with, it could be a separate entity, a separate group, or a separate individual, or within the group, or it can be communication is confined within a set of group or sets of groups. Okay, a network uses simple network protocol that can result in a collective behavior of complexity. So can only be connected using a protocol. It may be a simple network protocol or a complex network protocol in which once we intertwine those network, it can create a collective behavior. So nagkakaroon siya ng complexity. So that is network. Okay, for computer network, there are two parts for a computer network. Either physical or logical. When we say physical, it consists of the hardware infrastructure. So tangible equipment like servers, your networking equipment, your cables, those are tangible equipments or tangible materials. So those are your network infrastructure. Next is connecting end devices. So when we say connecting end devices, these are either your laptop, your tablet, your VoIP phones. Those are called end devices, including your printers. Those are considered end devices. When we say end devices, these are the end point of your network, computer network. Endpoint, nasa dulo na siya. Okay, it comprises of different hardware. When we say comprises of different hardware, either it could be a computing device. When we say computing device, these are servers. It could be a networking device. So when we say networking device, these are your switches, your hub, your routers. It could be a processing device. For processing device, it could be your printer. It could be your laptop. Those are processing devices. So computer network for physical consists of your hardware, end devices, and different hardware. But computer networks can also be defined logically. When we say logically, software and data. Network uses or utilizes software and transmit data. So when a computer process an information, it transmits the information through the network. May mga nag-join po kasi. Okay. So computer networks can also be defined logically by facilitating information change. Yun nga yung sabi ko kanina, when data is processed and there are exchange of information throughout the network, through the network. It could be voice data, voice information, data information, or electrical information being transmitted from one end devices going through your infrastructure and going to your end devices. Okay, computer network do not share memory space. When we say it do not share memory space, it does not utilize a shared memory. So it all end devices have its own infrastructure that can transmit data but not the memory space. So those are how we define computer network, either physically or logically. May question po before we proceed? Okay, wala naman. Okay, going through the motion of improvement, starting from when the first network was created, yung ARPANET, there have been many technological changes. So there are many improvements that push behind the network. So on technological development, T. Watson, one of the pioneering for technology, thinks that there is a world market maybe for 5 more computers. So inaano nila na there are more needed hardware for a network to be a successful integration. Okay. Kay Olsen also said that there is no reason for an individual to have a computer in their home. Kasi during those time, a computer, mahal yung development niya, mahal yung maintenance niya. Ang nangyayari, computer is box within an office space. Kaya sinasabi nila na walang part siya sa mga bahay. Then Moore's law Moore's law is the number of transistors that fit in a unit area of an integrated circuit, or equivalent to the total processing power of computers doubles every 2 years. So this is the law that governs how processors are created. Moore, next yata. Yan. Okay. Si Moore, isa siya sa mga pioneering sa Intel, in which he observed that computing dramatically decreased cost at a regular pace. But during intertwined with the observation is that the increase of number of transistors that we can put on a single processor increases the performance. So every 2 years daw siya nagkakaroon ng ganong changes. Okay, from 1970s, nakita natin yung IBM PC. Then moving forward, nakita natin yung Intel 380, Intel 480. Then we have 1995, yung Intel Pentium Pro. Pentium Pro pa lang siya. So 480, ano pa rin siya, processor. Then 2004, lumabas yung Pentium 4. Then going through the motion improvement, hindi lang si Intel yung nag-develop. So, during those time, nandun na rin sa market si AMD. AMD is a small chip manufacturer during those time. Mas mura siya with Intel, but the processing power is slightly, mas malaki yung computing power ni Intel compared to AMD during those time. Then, 2006, 2007, nagkaroon na tayo ng fork sa development ng chip kasi nagkaroon na tayo ng mga server versions. So, yan yung mga Xeon processor by Intel. Then, going through the motion of every 2 years, there's an implementation or improvement. Nagkakaroon tayo ng increase din sa paliit yung processor, but the processor itself is going yung power ng processor is going up. So if we compare now AMD with Intel, halos parehas na sila sa benchmarking. So dun sa mga benchmarking natin, nakikita na natin that most or some of the gamers preferred AMD over Intel. And some server manufacturer, they propose AMD Intel instead of Intel. So marami na ngayon, nagkakaroon na tayo ng kompetensya between Intel and AMD. So Moore's Law ushered in dawn the personalization of technology. So nandun na yung personal computer. Actually, during 1970s, 80s, hindi tayo makapag-personalize ng computer. What you see is what you get. Pero ngayon, di ba nakikita na natin na nagkakaroon na tayo ng way to personalize how we build our own computer. Di ba meron ng, you can pick your own processor, your own memory, your board. Then you can personalize it based on what you want. Kung gaming ka, ano ba yung gusto mo? Malaki yung GPU, yung iyong hyper-threading, gaano karaming threads ang kaya niya. So, nagkakaroon na tayo ng personalization ng ating computing. So, that's how Moore's Law came to be. For industrial development, so, dun sa iba sa inyo, nakita ko yung discussion regarding ARPANET and DARPA. So during those time, DARPA connect 4 computer known as ARPANET. So that is in 1969. That is one of the first development of a network. Unfortunately, during those time, that network or the development with ARPANET is mostly focused on military innovations. Okay. Then, 1983, January 1st, is the official birth of the internet, connecting 500 hosts. So 500 hosts pa lang, but that was considered as the first birth of the internet. Hindi pa bukas. Okay. So during those time nga, DARPA connected for computer known as the ARPANET. So if we take a view, a bird's eye view during the pandemic of how we use the internet, so nakita natin na there's an increase from the number of users in billions to the percentage of internet users. So nakita natin na talagang nagkaroon ng spike during the time of the pandemic. It actually reach 65% of the whole population na gumagamit na ng internet. Okay. If we look at the percentage of number of individuals using the internet in 2021, if we look at Asia and Pacific, 61% of the total population of Asia and the Pacific uses internet. So for the total population, mataas na yung ating nare-reach din. Mataas na rin yung nare-reach ng ating equity between people who have internet and who doesn't have. So we are on more than 50% of the population. For the Americas, it's 1. For Europe, it's 87. So nakita nyo yung difference din na from Asia and the Pacific, 61, comparing to other developed countries. Yung availability ng internet is a must na rin sa kanila. It's a regular requirement na meron talaga silang internet. But for some developing internet is you can say na basic pa rin siya, luxury pa rin siya sa iba. Especially for those country na developing pa na. So if we see for the total world, for the totality of for the universe, for the all countries, we have 63% in total na mayroon ng access to internet. This is a 2021 data by the International Technology Union. ITU. Ito Internet. Ayan nga, International Telecommunication Union. Okay. Young people more connected than the rest of the population. When we say young people, ito yung mga millennials na ngayon is marami na talagang maraming social media platforms, may mga bloggers, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. So, for Asia and Pacific, from the benchmark of 53% during 2020 census, it actually released to 72%. So nakita nyo, na kaagad, tumaas na kaagad siya. So youth means 15 to 24 years old individuals using the internet as a percentage of total population. So 15 to 24, kasama pa kayo rito. So comparing dun sa sa 53 na mark, which are the general population, 72% of those are young people o age 15 to 24. So nakita nyo ang laki ng Okay, on economic and social impacts. So internet brought different modalities on economic and social impact. The internet came to us bringing business to consumer, business to business, government to consumer, consumer to consumer, or peer-to-peer. When we say business to consumer, ito yung mga online ordering, online, pwede kayo mag-order like Lazada, Shopee, or your Grab, Lalamove, Foodpanda. So those are business to consumer in which sila na mismo yung nag-market ng business nila para sa consumer sa kanila na lang bibili. So ito yung mga online platforms na pwede ka mag-order na damit, pagkain, and anything na pwede mong i-order through internet. So when we say business to business, example, yun nga, yun sa car manufacturing, either Toyota orders its parts directly to their supplier, sorry. So, meron na silang direct line of communication na meron na kaagad silang ordering mechanism. Pwede na gano'n. Or, kunyari, si Jollibee, umu-order na direkta sa mga komisari niya, kumukuha ng tinapay, yung manok. So, meron na kaagad siyang ordering facility for those ingredients or yung mga ginagamit nila para mapatakbo yung kanilang business. Those are business to business. For government to consumer, these are facility in which government offers its services. For example, yung NBI, online clearance application. Mag-a-apply ka na lang doon, hihingiin sa iyo yung details, hihingiin sa iyo yung mga information mo, then you can book kung kailan mo siya kukuhanin. Then on the nearest NBI facility na may releasing ng mga card, ang gagawin mo na lang, magtatambit ka na lang. So isa yun. Then, di ba, during the course of the pandemic, nagkaroon tayo ng push sa government na lahat, or hindi naman lahat, halos lahat ng government services is i-move siya online. One good example din ng government to consumer is yung online birth certificate sa PSA, yung kanilang PSA Service. So yun, you can actually request for your birth certificate, marriage contract, certificate of no marriage, online. Then babayaran mo siya online din to a facility na meron dun sa PSA service, either a mobile wallet or bank transfer, or you can actually pay dun sa mga accredited nila. before they can process your request. So once they have processed your request, kung merong lumabas na information, papadala nila sa'yo. Yung, kunyari, birth certificate mo. So, yun. That's a government to consumer. Ginagawa na to sa ngayon because of the pandemic na nagkakaroon tayo ng restriction sa paglabas. So most of the services that has been traditionally done online, pati mga pagbabayad nga ng tax, tayo ng realization na this pandemic might take longer. So ito nga, ginagawa rin natin. We're on a virtual classroom in which traditionally we do face-to-face meeting. So hindi natin alam kung hanggang kailan mangyayari itong virtual classroom natin. So ngayon, we are doing a flexible learning. Kung ano yung available na equipment using Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, or Zoom, or Google Meet. So yun yung ginagamit niyo yung Moodle. Okay. Mobile phones are becoming a big tools. So, I don't know kung ilan sa inyo ang merong mobile phone na hindi lang isang mobile phone, minsan may tablet pa. Minsan dalawang cellphone. So if we see the from 2018 to 2020, we have seen a massive surge of the population owning one mobile phone. So masyadong yung pagkakaroon ng mobile phone or owning smartphones. If we see itong natin, ito, Pilipinas. Ito. So nandito tayo, 80 to 89% of the population have at least one mobile phone. So kung ikaw, meron kang at least one. So 80 to 89% of the population na meron. Okay. Despite a steady decline, the cost of connecting remains high in developing countries. So unfortunately, for Asia and the Pacific, we're still the percentage of fixed broadband and mobile data basket prices as of percent of GNI as of 2020, we are still high. So 3% pa lang yung atin. Comparing to other, like in Europe, 1.3%. But if we compare, there are many players in the industry na. So, I don't know si Digitel kung meron pa at saka si Eastern. But for other mobile data baskets, we have Globe, Smart. So, yung basically dalawa lang sila nagkakaroon ng ng dito. Meron na rin dito. Yun. So, tatlo. But, unfortunately, si dito nahihirapan to penetrate talaga yung market for us na third telco. So, comparing kasi yung prices noon sa ngayon, medyo mas mababa. And we have, we can compare prices. Ngayon, si Converge medyo mas mababa comparing to Globe and PLDT. But yung, syempre, the cost versus the customer service, doon tayo nakakatalo. Through the motion ng better internet connection. Okay. Standards and regulation. For international standards and regulation, we have the International Union, so ITU. They are the one managing or doing standards for international communication. We also have the Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF. it's an organization that provides standards and regulation for the internet. So we have Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers in IEEE. Kasi computer engineering remains a branch of electrical engineering. So nandun pa rin tayo sa point na hindi pa tayo na recognize as a separate branch. But hopefully, we have seen na marami nang move to do that. So IEEE provides standards and regulation also for how we do communications. For the Philippines, we have Republic Act 7925. This is the Public Telecommunication Policy Act, or it was the law that created the National Telecommunication Commission. Matagal na itong batas na to. It's an outdated law, but still provides licensing for additional public safety, public services for internet connection. Sila yung nagbibigay din sila ng permit for ISP. If you remember, there are many small ISP provider. Yun, yung kanilang license, concession, is being granted by Congress. Yun yung mga 25 years. Or 50 years. Depende kung ano yung ibigay sa kanila ng Congress. Then, Republic Act 100844 or the Department of Information and Communication Act. So, this one created the ICT. From the start na yung NCC, National Computer Center, yung nasa Quezon City. Then, ICTO. Then, when the law was promulgated, the ICT was formed. So, ano siya? Nasama-sama na. So, NCC, ICTO, then the ICT. So, for network physical infrastructure, when we say network physical infrastructure, it consists of leap of nodes, network nodes that are connected in the core network. There is always a core network. Remember that to be defined as a network physical infrastructure, there must always be a core. So kinds of infrastructure is standalone embedded systems. These are functionality and do not communicate to other system. Ito yung isang, kunyari, it's a financial equipment. Financial computing machine. Wala siyang hindi siya connected siya sa network but it does not supply information or it not give information to others. Okay, next is network aware embedded system. So some functionality of network, it can connect but it will only provide you with the limited information allowed it to be shared. Okay, there is a network-connected embedded system or online. Ito yung mga ginagamit natin ng mga online systems na. So, it's a network-connected embedded systems. When we say a network central embedded system, it's a standalone function. On that standalone function, it can actually communicate within the group. Kung ano lang yung group na kinabibilangan niya. So if we say it's the computer is a member of the financial network, all computers within the financial network can actually connect to that core network and get or provide information. So that's a network central embedded system. When we say a fully network embedded system, these are mostly cheap devices na nakakonect lang dun sa network mo. So, for example, a printer. That is a fully network embedded system because nakakonect lang siya dun and it only waits information from your print server to print this information. So, that's an example of a fully network embedded system. Okay. The core network. So the core network consists of the sea of interconnected routers that transfer data between. It facilitates data transfer between end devices connected in different access network. So yan yung pinaka-core mo. Those are sea of interconnected routers in which data transfers happen. Okay, while circuit switching provides the dedicated or the virtual circuit per call or session. So sa circuit naman, commonly this is used on telephone system. Kasi sa telephone system natin, mga landline natin, di ba? Landline, one-way call. Either tumawag ka, mag-uusap kayong dalawa, or ngayon kasi nagkakaroon ng yung party line dati, but hindi rin naman yun natuloy. Hindi rin nag-prosper. Okay? That's circuit switching. For packet switching, channel resources are not reserved. Kung sa circuit switching, once nagamit mo na yung channel, you cannot allocate it to other resources. While on packet switching, the channel resources is not reserved. For packet switching, uses protocol or logical pieces, in which those logical pieces or the data packets within those logical pieces can be shared to the. Okay. Kung meron tayong core network, there is also what we call the access network. Yung access, ito yung mga dinuduktungan ng mga end devices. So these are some of the access network readily available sa atin. So dati, di ba, we use DSL, direct subscriber lines, in which this is a pair of copper, twisted copper wire, either UTP or STP. So, yung mga twisted pair copper, the speed is relatively high, depending on your UTPRs or your twisted pair copper. We started pipe E, 6 and 6E. So depending on what copper you are using will depend the speed in which transmission can happen. Okay, for download and upload, it's both symmetric. Pwedeng 5 MB pataas, 5 MB pababa. Or it can be asymmetric na you can have a subscription na mas mataas yung download mo, 10 gig pababa, and yung upload mo is 5 gig. So those can be configured based on your subscription with your telecommunication. So for infrastructure cost, it's low. Kasi copper nga lang siya, di ba, sinasabit lang nila sa poste. Yun yung naging simula ng DSL. Okay, for coaxial cable, these are mainly used for cable communication. Yung mga TV natin. But during those time, cable lang siya. But with the improvement in packet switching using coaxial cable, kasi kung ano kayo ng networking 1 o yung sa elective 1 yung for networking, coaxial cable can only transfer para siyang switching information from one point to another. Pag na-break mo yung coaxial cable, mapuputol na yung information flow. But with the improvement of technology, they were able to separate signals within the coaxial cable. Diba kung magpapag digibox na, in which those digibox, the signal is being separated. Depending on if yan ay data signal or voice signal or yung sa TV. Cable signal. So using the box, it can actually separate the signals. Okay. Depending also coaxial cable, the speed is high. than DSL outside peak hours. Distance to high speed does not change. The speed since connection is shared per performance drop during peak hours. So yun, di ba? Kasi isa lang yung tinatakbuhan niya. Okay? So for the download and upload, for coaxial cable, it's only asymmetric. So medyo mas mataas yung download speed. Mas higher than sa upload. Because download and upload share the same channel. So half duplex. Okay, fiber optic cable. So ito yung nagiging technology nowadays. So they're banking on a pure fiber to fiber end-to-end connection. So ito na yung mga tagline ni PLDT, ni Globe, ni Converge, in which they are connecting internet connection using fiber from your home router to the network. So fiber na. So the speed is very high. Actually, the limit, there's no actual limit. The limit will be based on the capacity of your router or the core network. Tsaka yung mga kanilang kanilang mga devices sa mga poste. Kasi meron din limit 'yon. So, dun sa fiber, wala tayong problema. Kasi it can transmit information dun sa linya na yun, sa fiber na yun, kasi nga fiber na lang siya, light lang, dire-diretso, mabilis. Okay, for the download and upload, it's asymmetric. Download and upload do not share the same channel, so full duplex. It utilizes all the resources within your fiber cable. But it asymmetric siya, but we can actually bank on the speed na hindi ganun kalayo yung difference between upload and download. So kunyari, for my internet connection, I'm using a Converge 50 Mbps. For my upload, I'm reaching 50, 60. But for my download, I'm reaching 40, 45. Much lower than the upload, but not too much yung difference. So for the infrastructure cost, it's high kasi you have to lay down fiber optic cables dun sa yung sa papunta ng core network nila. And fiber optic cables can easily be damaged. Madali siya maputol. Then, repairing a fiber optic cable with 100 core. Hindi ko alam kung nabalitaan niyo yung nangyari sa Pasay. Yung isang fiber optic na Converge ay nasira ng contractor ni DPWH. So that is a 100 core. 100 core yung lawan niya. So yung 100 core na yon, pag naputol yon, you have to splice those 100 core. And that's not easy. When you splice kasi dapat yung between connection ng naputol, dapat align siya. Once hindi siya nag-align, the data transfer can suffer or bababa siya. Kasi nga hindi dalawang salamin. Fiber optic cable. So that's the problem with fiber optic. The speed is high, but the infrastructure cost is also high. But yun na talaga yung way eh. If we want to increase the speed, if we want to have a much greater bandwidth, fiber is what we need. We have to invest on the infrastructure. Unfortunately, here in the Philippines, there is no plan for that one. Diba, kung napapansin nyo, yun nga, yung nasira sa Pasay, hindi alam din yata ng contractor na may nakalay na cable na Converge doon. So, walang central coordination on how we manage yung ating infrastructure for internet. Yeah. These are typically shared network resources where multiple end devices can connect to the rest of the internet. Okay. The internet today. So we can also define the internet in two ways. Into perspective, physically and logically. Okay, internet is the largest computer network. When we say the largest computer network, all computers that are connected or all end devices that are connected to the internet is belonging to the internet network. So kaya tinawag natin the largest computer network. And it uses globally accessible communication protocols. So protocols govern the internet. So kung walang protocols, nagkagulo na ang information transfer sa internet. So those communication protocols are standard na ginagamit ng mga units natin. And it connected billions of end devices through network and sub-network. When we say network, these are the core network. And when we say sub-network, these are the network connected to the core network. Pwede kasi nga mangyari, for example, my organization has its own network. Then my organization network is connected to the internet, connected to a service provider. So my sub-network is connected to a larger network or the core network. So it connected billions of end devices. Actually, your mobile devices, when you connect it to your ISP or when you connect it to your mobile data plan subscriber, you're part of a sub-network because those ISP provider or your mobile carrier provider is connected to our larger network. So those are network and sub-network. But internet can also be defined on the perspective logically. So internet today provides communication service to network applications. So kung yung TikTok, yung Facebook, yung Instagram, those are network application. Kasi those applications are deployed online. So those are network application. And information traverses to the network going through your equipment. And information traverses through your equipment going through the network application. So there's a two-way street communication between your application going through the network, going through the servers, and going back. Yun. Just ina-explain ko kanina, data delivery from a source to a destination. So from your device, through the network, through the server. From the server, as a destination, as a source, going through the network, going through your phone as a destination. So when we exchange information, your end device, your mobile device, can be a source and a destination. Kaya ang sabi nila is data delivery. And lastly, it can be implemented with security measures. Nowadays, na nakita natin na we're moving services online, maraming ng threat actors na nagkakaroon ng interest na i-hack yung mga systems na yan. So lately, we have heard the news regarding the alleged hacking incident with Comelec. There have been news that the systems of Comelec has been hacked. But based on the investigation by the CICC, that the network of Comelec is not compromised and is not hacked, but the Smartmatic application for the voting machine may be. Yun yung operative word na may be compromised. Wala pa silang official announcement if really the application has been compromised. So maybe. So application nowadays uses security measures like implementing secure socket layer (SSL). So when we see our website with HTTPS or the lock key, it means that the application is secured by a valid certificate, in which those certificate is issued by a certificate authority, a CA. So depending on what CA provides the certificate, it is recognized globally. Or the application itself implemented a secure coding implementation. When we say secure coding, it goes to the process of vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. When we say vulnerability assessment, the application goes through a variety of tests to determine if the application have vulnerabilities based on a certain parameters. There are many parameters that is being used to test a certain application. Once the application is tested with those vulnerability, once those vulnerability has been identified, it can go through the process of penetration testing. The process of penetration testing exploit those vulnerabilities. If those vulnerabilities can be exploited, the application is vulnerable. So yun yung process ng vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. But when we identify the vulnerabilities and do the penetration testing, the next part of this is to implement mitigation measures. Kasi nakita mo na kung ano yung mga vulnerable parts na penetrate mo, then you do your mitigation. So yun. That is how we implement security measures on network application. Network security. So the question is your system secure? Is there a 100% system that is secure? So, tayo. Ms. De Leon, is there a 100% secure system? Ms. De Leon?
Sir, lalaki po.
Sir, lalaki po ako. Sorry. Mr. De Leon, sorry. So, is there a 100% secure system? In your opinion?
Wala po siguro, sir.
So, bakit kaya?
Sir, siyempre, yung mga gumawa niyan, siguro pwede rin nilang buksan yan since sila nga rin yung gumawa, sir.
Okay. Ms. Panganiban, so what is your opinion kung meron bang 100% na secure system? Ms. Panganiban? Ms. Janine Panganiban? Ba siya? Nag-attend din siya. Hello, Ms. Panganiban. Okay. So, is your system secure? Is there a 100% secure system? So sabi nga ni Sir kanina, wala. So that is actually true. There is no 100% secure system. Bakit? Kasi one reason is for that there are many developing technologies. When you implement a technology, there will always be a vulnerability for that implementation. Hindi mo talaga siya masisecure 100%. But how do we balance security between productivity? So ito yung tinatawag natin na CIA triad. So confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So when we say confidentiality, is my information stay secret? So my information stays secret. So the information will only be provided to those with access to that information. If you are not part of those person with access, so the information must stay confidential. For example, of confidential information is the CVV information on your credit card and debit card. Those information must be kept confidential. Sa inyo lang dapat yun. Okay? Integrity. My information stays correct. So, going back to the example dun sa debit card and credit card, the information that is connected to that credit card or debit card must stay correct. Na yung name mo must remains the same name, or the billing address must stay the same billing address. So that's integrity. Or availability. I can get at my information. If you are going to purchase equipment using those credit card, the information or the connectivity of the card to the central server or the core network must be available. Pag sinuwipe mo yung card mo, makukuha yung information, converse through the network, then ma-approve yung application mo to buy that equipment. Okay? So that's the CIA triad. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So yun lang ba yung kailangan? Meron pa. Yan. But there are more. Privacy, authenticity, non-repudiation, and accountability. For privacy, if misuse. So yung information mo dun sa card mo, sa credit card mo, must not be misused. Unfortunately, nangyayari di ba yun na nagagamit yung card mo na hindi mo misuse of your privacy. Authenticity. The information is authentic. So when you send information through the network using your card, the information must be authentic. Non-repudiation. The information is undeniable. When we say non-repudiation, when you sign something, for example, you sign an online form using your signature, using your digital signature, that your signature must be non-repudiation. So it's undeniable that you are the one who signed that online form. Accountability. Is the information provider accountable? So when you provide the information with your digital signature, you are accountable for what you have signed. Kasi non-repudiation nga, di ba? Undeniable na that you have signed that online form. And when you sign that online form, any information that is contained on that online form, you are accountable. Okay? So that is also part of network security. Ilang slide pa ba tayo? Okay, tapos na. Aspect of security engineering. On security engineering, there are 5. Design, software quality, secure tool selection, system usage, and some trade-offs. So on part of the network security, on how you design. So meron ka bang IDS, antivirus, do you have a web application firewall? How you design your network? Meron ba itong layered security or meron kang lateral security? So those are part of the design of, on how you secure your network. Software quality. Software quality, ano ba yung mga software na gagamitin mo? Yung software ba na i-deploy mo sa yung mga network application mo ba na i-deploy mo sa iyong network have undergone vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, undergone a secure coding implementation. So yun, part din siya ng network security. On the security tool selection, are you going to use SIEM? Are you going to use open source network security application, or are you going to use subscription base and how on security tool selection, it's not always nasasabihin natin na very good yung application kung siya ay paid version. There are many security tools na open source that is much better than paid version. Pero kasi depende yon kung how you implement those open source software. Depende kung paano mo siya tunick. Ano yung mga settings na nilagay mo sa kanya. Okay, system usage. If your network application have high input-output process, high IOPS, depending on how you configure, dapat alam mo yung balance between security and yung application applicability. Dapat balance siya. Kasi baka mamaya masyado nang mataas yung security mo, hindi na ma-access yung application mo. Or sobra namang baba ng security ng application mo na you are putting your application on a vulnerable part. So, dapat mabalance yung dalawa, security and applicability. And trade-offs, kasi hindi mo naman talaga makukuha lahat. So, based on the deployment, kung ano yung kaya mong i-deploy on your budget or kung ano yung kaya mong i-deploy based on the requirement of your design, the software, and the tool selection, yun lang yung pwede mo siyang i-deploy. So, dapat ganun yung maging aspect of security engineering. You cannot have it all. Yun nga. You cannot have a super layered security na halos hindi na magamit yung application. Or you cannot have na wala ka ng security at all that you are putting your organization at risk. Okay? Okay, that's all. So that's the introduction for our network and computer networks. Do you have any question? Hello po. May question po?
Wala po, sir.
Wala naman po, sir.
Wala naman po, sir.
Kaya rin pala yung laboratory naman. Sige, let's open our cam for documentation for today. Open camera lang po. Open camera lang po. Yun. Search gallery na lang. Okay. Sige po, open po. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for attending our class. Lipat na pala tayo sa kabila na. Ayan yung laboratory. So thank you for attending our lecture for today. So transfer na lang po tayo dun sa other meeting link or our laboratory. Then may ipopost po akong instruction dun sa ating Google Classroom. Paki-download na lang po yung Word file for our exercises, laboratory exercises for today. Okay, thank you. See you sa ating next lesson.